It was supposed to be nothing more than a short stop. Sarah had been driving for hours, cutting across rural Pennsylvania, the roads narrowing into two-lane stretches, hemmed in by endless woods. The sun had slipped behind the horizon hours ago, and the only light now was the pale reflection of her headlights bouncing off the faded road signs. She hadn't meant to end up here. Her GPS had rerouted her when she missed an exit, and after another 30 miles of empty farmland, she realized she was exhausted. That was when she saw the sign, Green Hollow Motel, vacancy. The place looked like something out of a forgotten decade. A row of 6 doors, each painted the same dull green, sagging under the weight of peeling paint. A single flickering neon sign buzzed above the office window. A soda machine stood beside the door, dead and gutted. The parking lot was cracked asphalt, weeds pushing up through the lines. Sarah pulled in reluctantly. She told herself she just needed sleep. One night, then she'd be gone at first light. The man inside the office was old, much older than she expected. He sat hunched behind a counter, a yellowing newspaper spread open in front of him. His skin was weathered, the kind of leathered texture you only see on someone who'd spent decades in the sun. His eyes, though, were alert, sharp in a way that made her uncomfortable the second they met hers. "Traveling through?" he asked, his voice low, gravelly. "Yeah, just passing," Sarah said quickly. He slid a key across the counter without asking for ID, without even glancing at the logbook that lay to his side. "Room 6, he said, his lips curling almost into a smirk. Sarah forced a polite smile, took the key, and left. The room smelled faintly of mildew and cigarettes. The wallpaper was faded, curling in the corners, and the carpet was sticky in places. The bedspread was a floral pattern from some bygone era, but at least it looked clean. She locked the door, dropped her bag on the chair, and collapsed on the bed. Her phone had 1 bar of service. She texted her sister. Made it to a motel, safe. Talk tomorrow, but wasn't sure if it even sent. Sleep came quickly, but so did the noise. Sometime after midnight, Sarah woke with a start. At first, she thought it was part of a dream, but then she heard it again, a soft shuffle outside her door. She held her breath. The sound paused, then came again. Slow, deliberate footsteps. Sarah sat up, heart pounding. The thin curtains glowed faintly from the parking lot light. A shadow shifted across them. Someone was out there. She told herself it was just another guest, maybe returning late. But the footsteps stopped directly outside her room. She stared at the door, at the flimsy brass handle, the chipped wood. Whoever it was stood there for what felt like a full minute. Then, a gentle jiggle of the handle. Sarah's throat went dry. The door was locked, she was sure of it, but the thought of someone testing it made her chest tighten. After a long silence, the footsteps moved away. She didn't sleep again that night. In the morning, sunlight made the motel look less sinister, but no less depressing. Sarah went to the office to check out, only to find the old man waiting, seated in the exact same position as before. "Sleep all right?" he asked, his tone almost mocking. Sarah hesitated. "Yeah, fine." His eyes lingered on her. He didn't blink much. She felt herself shrinking under the weight of his stare. "You heading far?" he asked. "Just back on the road." He nodded slowly, as though he knew more than she was saying. When Sarah slid the key across the counter, his hand brushed hers. His skin was rough, cold. She pulled away too quickly, and his smile widened. She told herself she was being paranoid. Maybe it had been nothing. Another guest, some drunk stumbling into the wrong room. Still, as she drove away, her chest remained tight. She promised herself she would never stop at places like that again. But fate had other plans. Hours later, heavy rain forced her off the highway. She was low on gas, and when she pulled into a rest stop, the pumps were out of order. The only nearby option that showed on her GPS was a familiar name, Green Hollow Motel. Sarah's stomach dropped. By the time she reached it, the rain was pouring so hard she could barely see. Every part of her screamed to keep driving, but the storm was relentless. Against her better judgment, she parked under the buzzing neon sign once again. The old man was there, waiting. Same seat, same newspaper, same sharp eyes. "Well," he said softly. "Back again." Sarah froze. She hadn't told him she'd stayed before, hadn't even given her name. "Room 6, he said, pushing the key toward her once more. Her hand shook as she took it. That night the noises came earlier. Sarah sat on the bed, rain hammering the window, when she heard the shuffle of feet outside. She froze, eyes fixed on the door. The footsteps stopped directly outside her room again. Then came the scraping sound, metal against metal. Someone was trying a key. Her stomach twisted. The old man. She crept to the door, holding her breath, watching the knob. It jiggled once, then again, harder this time. "Hello?" she whispered, her voice shaking. The sound stopped. Silence. Then slow footsteps moving away. She backed into the corner, clutching her phone. No service. She typed out a message anyway, her hands trembling. "If something happens, I'm at Green Hollow Motel, room 6. She prayed it would send when she had signal again. For the next 2 hours, she sat awake, listening. Every creak, every drip of water from the ceiling felt amplified. At 3 a.m., exhaustion took her. She must have dozed, because the next thing she knew, the handle turned sharply. Someone was in the room. She bolted upright, but the door hadn't opened. It was locked. She stared, breath ragged, certain she'd seen it twist. On the floor by the door, a shadow stretched under the crack. Someone was standing there, waiting. She didn't move until dawn. When light finally filled the room, Sarah gathered her things and opened the door slowly. The hallway was empty, the parking lot wet from rain. On the doormat outside her room lay a single item, a spare motel key, its tag marked 6. Her stomach dropped. She went to the office, but the door was locked, the blinds drawn. The old man was gone. No sign of him. Sarah didn't wait. She threw her bag in the car and drove until the motel was a shrinking speck in her rearview mirror. To this day, she doesn't know who stood outside her door that night. Maybe it was another guest, maybe someone else entirely. But deep down, Sarah believes it was the old man, because when she replayed the moment in her head, the sound of the key scraping, the way the handle had turned, she remembered something chilling. The man had never asked her name, never took her information, never wrote anything in the logbook. Yet somehow he always knew exactly who she was, and somehow he always gave her the same key. Room number 6.